My name is David Campos, and with me is my colleague David Bedallion. We're David and David here at Graphics One, and today we're behind the scenes today at the Graphics One's labs, and we're going to be doing an all-over dye sub seminar. And what we're going to be focusing on is doing the process, showing you the equipment, and how you can go ahead and get started with doing an all-over dye sublimation garment. So, in looking at the process, we want to go ahead and talk about dye sublimation. And we want to make sure that we first inform you of what sublimation is. And sublimation is the process of changing from a solid point to a gas without passing through a liquid phase. And we do that by using heat and a heat transfer system. How we start is we print off an image using dye sub ink onto dye sub paper. We go ahead and take that image later to our heat press, which is what you see right here. And we go ahead and do a press where it's already preheated to 390 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and we do a press for 30 seconds. And what happens during that time is you're going to go ahead and, well, you won't see it, but the process is that the ink on the paper will turn into a gas, immediately fall onto your garment, and then it will go ahead and cure onto the garment, and it actually dyes the fabric. So when you actually pull out the heat press at your bed and you go ahead and peel off, you're not going to feel anything except the fabric of your garment. So that's how the heat press works. And it's as simple as going ahead and printing a high quality image on your printer, taking it to a heat press, pushing the button, and doing a 30-second heat press. And that's basically the process. Now, the workflow that we want to go ahead and walk you through is going ahead and getting started. And the way you want to go ahead and do that is obviously when you're doing dye sublimation, you're going to have different size shirts. So you want to go ahead and grab a shirt that you're going to start off with, and you're going to want to go ahead and do measurements. And you're going to want to make sure that you do measurements for every single shirt that you have, so that way you can do everything accordingly with your artwork. And when you go ahead and do your measurement, you're going to want to go ahead and basically there's simple ways to do it. You can do the highest height, take that length and then the longest length as well, and go ahead and do an image that is a square block that'll cover your whole entire shirt. Or if you want to go ahead and save on your ink cost so that we are not doing a full block, you can actually go ahead and measure from your torso to torso and create an image of kind of what you see right here, which is like the form of a T. And so I also want to remind you, if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and type them into the box. We are going to be answering questions. We'll go ahead and take time to do Q&A after. But even in the middle, if we're going a little too fast, if there's something you want a little more clarity, let us know. Our team behind the scenes will go ahead and inform us, and we'll take a little break to go ahead and address those for you. And feel free to ask on any questions you'd like. So, no, feel free, not don't feel free. And so, what we've done again is we've gone ahead and we've measured out our shirt. Right here you can see this is a 3X t-shirt that we're going to be showing, and we have a length and width of 43 by 33, and we have a torso of 27. So those are some simple measurements that you can go ahead and take in preparing your artwork. Now with that, you're going to go to your artwork program and you're going to want to go ahead and create a template box based on those dimensions, and then from there you can go ahead and fix your artwork within that box template. Now what I highly recommend is whatever dimensions you gave yourself, give yourself an extra inch so that way you can bleed out the image and you have a little extra room to go ahead and fully cover, as we're doing all over sublimation of course, fully cover your whole entire garment with an image so that way it completely covers it. Now your artwork, for those of you who are artists and you're already currently, you know that you can go ahead and create it in programs such as Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, Corel, things of that. And what you want to do is after you've created your artwork, you want to make sure to save it as an EPS or a PDF file. And from there, once you have your artwork ready, you can go ahead and take it to your RIP software. For those of you who don't know what a RIP software is, it's basically a communicator or a translator that really helps communicate the image of your file from your printer, from your computer to your printer. And the RIP basically stands for Rasterized Image Processing, and it mentions it helps control your ink colors, it helps control the speed of your printing, and it helps control the profile that you're going to be used to make sure you get the best color, the best quality, and that you're doing everything according to your printer's capabilities. Now with that, we're going to go ahead and share a screen with you so we can show you the Wasatch process, and I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to my colleague David Bedallion, and he'll walk you through that.
So what you want to do at the very beginning is go to your job tab. We go right up here to select our artwork, and we bring it over to the job tab. So once you have it here in the job tab, there's a number of different features in Wasatch that you could utilize. You could basically put in crop marks, registration marks. You could annotate your prints to include specific details on the actual printout of what the print was, what resolution modes was used to print that specific output. You could go into the sizing, change the sizes. Since right now we currently have it at the correct size, we'll go ahead and take it from the job tab and add it to our layout. And in our layout, what we see here is basically the full width of the paper that we have loaded in the printer. We could zoom out here to give us a better view. So we have a 44-inch wide layout. This is the artwork here. So then we'll go ahead, and this is the front side of the shirt that we'll be printing. We'll go ahead and add the back to our job tab. So once we have the back here, we'll go ahead and add that to our layout as well. So now you see we have both pieces here in the layout, which at that point what we need to do is go ahead and mirror our artwork. Since we're going to be doing a transfer process, the image is basically going to be reflected onto the garment. So what we have to do is go right up here, click on the mirror option for both images, and then at this point we're ready to print. Now there's two different things you could do. You can either go up here, click on rip. What that will do is it will process the artwork and throw it into the cues folder. Once it's in the cues folder, you no longer have to rip that artwork. You could just go to your cues folder at any point, select the artwork that you've ripped previously, click on the print button, and it will print right away. The ripping process, it varies. The length varies depending on how large the artwork is and what kind of processor you have, what system you're using. Generally, it should take, for something this size, no more than a minute to rip. So you can either rip to throw it in the cues, or you could do a rip and print. This button, what it will do is it will rip the artwork, and it will automatically send it off to the printer to get printed. So we'll go ahead and go back to our cues. This is the same layout that we've had before. We'll go ahead and hit print. So as you can see, the layout, the job has been sent to the printer now, and the printer should start printing. And what you could do at this point, you can actually label your layouts to make it easier in the future. For example, for this one, we could call this the all over XL. So in the future, if you were to go to your cues list, you could easily locate that job, select it, press print, and you'll be good to go. You no longer have to wait for it to rip. So we'll go ahead and take you to the heat press now and demonstrate the pressing process. So what we're utilizing here right now for the printer is a 44-inch Muto. It's the RJ900X. It's a 4-color sublimation printer. And we'll go ahead and cut one of these pieces and do an actual transfer.
Now, as you can see it, you see we've already printed some of the images, and some of you may be asking how come the color looks a little duller on the actual printed image compared to the shirt that you see right here. And that's because part of the process of sublimation is that the heat brings out the vibrancy of the colors when you go ahead and do the transfer. So this color that you see, it's not going to be that faded blue and all that high tie-dye color that you see. When it comes out through the heat press, you're going to see how the colors basically explode and expand all the way into this garment right here. So let me go ahead and get this stuff out of the way.
So we have our print here. This is the front of the shirt that we're going to be transferring.
You have a question, by the way, guys?
We have a question where we're going to go ahead and take while David is preparing this transfer.
Is 44-inch one of the only ones that we carry?
No, this is actually the smallest unit that we carry, a 44-inch, but we go all the way up to 64-inch, and I believe we do have a 100-inch unit. But what's nice about the 44-inch unit is even though it's our smallest unit, at 44 inches you're able to do all garment sizes, so it's really a good unit for that.
Okay, we have another one.
We have another question.
How many ink colors do you offer?
How many ink colors we offer? Well, our Go Neotac, with what you see advertised in the actual image, we have 19 different colors. And we have the traditional CMYK, we have the light colors, the halftones, the light magenta, light cyan. We also have the traditional textile colors, that's orange and green. We have 3 special colors, which are our neon colors. We have a neon cyan, a neon red, and a neon yellow, which when put under a black light, they have fluorescent agents that actually allow them to glow in the dark. We also have a very popular color, which is our super black. For those of you who are traditional with dye sublimation, some of you know that when you're using your black, it doesn't always come out as a true black. It may get a little faded, may get a little green or a dull color. We have a super black that gives you the best output of black can give. There are many other colors that we have, light grays, light blacks. If you're interested, we do have different color combinations that we also like to use. In our RJ900, you're probably wondering, well, why would you need 19 colors with the 4-color machine? Well, what we like to do with our RJ900 specifically is we'll take out one of the traditional colors, we'll take out yellow, and we'll go ahead and put in our neon yellow. And what that does, it expands the color gamut to reach colors that you traditionally wouldn't be able to hit with the regular CMYK. So, and also on that, you would do a spot color replacement, so that way it can really truly reflect the neon capacity that the ink offers.
We have one more, then I'll let you guys go.
One more question.
What is it here? Is it limited only to polyester shirts?
Is it limited to only polyester shirts?
Can it be a blend?
Let me go ahead and pass this to Badalian.
I'll go ahead and answer that question.
Then they put sportswear.
The question was if sublimation is limited to polyesters. Generally, the higher the poly, the more vibrant your output would be. You could do blended materials as well, but let's say if you were to do a 50-50, 50% polyester, 50% cotton, what that would do is only 50% of the material would absorb the sublimation ink. Therefore, you get a washed out vintage look. So for sports apparel applications, in most cases, generally the material is 100% poly or a 90% poly, whereas the 50-50 blends would be used more for fashion applications. So we'll go right into the pressing process here. What we have is 100% poly shirt from Sport Tech. Hold the mic.
Mm-hmm.
This is a 3X shirt. So we'll go ahead and lay it down into our heat press. So you lay the shirt out, and what you could do, you could pre-press it to make sure it's nice and flat. If you want to avoid some of the creases that are caused when pressing. So you would lay your shirt out. We'll grab our print here. So what you want to do is you want to make sure the shirt is completely covered. You don't want to miss any spots. And then you just push the tray into the heat press. And now we're pressing for 30 seconds.
With that, I just want to mention about this model right here. As David Badal mentioned, we were using the RJ900X. It's a 4-color unit made from Muto. This unit right here is the Metalnox PTS 12000. It's a single shuttle unit. With this unit here, you're able to do a lot of larger sizes. Our press is already ready. It's been 30 seconds. So you go ahead and pull it out. And we're going to go ahead and peel it. Now the paper that we're using is Graphics One's Extreme Tack paper, which is really great for when you're using polyester. The purpose of that is because it has a tack agent that allows you to go ahead and stick to the paper, and it doesn't allow ghosting to occur when you go ahead and transfer. And then also with that, as I mentioned, we're using the Graphics One Neotack ink. Aside from having the 19 colors, the fluorescent agents, and the super black, it also has an added tack technology. So when combined together, you get a great tack performance that doesn't allow ghosting and really increases the output of your imaging. As you can see, the beautiful colors that are popping off on that shirt, great transfer that happened right there. And again, it's as simple as taking your image to a heat press for 30 seconds and pressing it. And as you can see, the pressing is as simple as pushing the button. This unit right here, as we mentioned, it's the Metalnox PTS 12000. The PTS stands for it's a pneumatic transfer system that's also semi-automatic. So it is run by air. Some of you may have seen the blue compressor that's below it. That's because it's actually pushing the table up with the air, so it's giving it enough even pressure to go ahead and do the transfer. And the semi-automatic, you have the drawers that you can go ahead and easily push in and out of the table tray. Another nice feature about our Metalnox unit is that the platen on this unit is a fixed platen, so it actually never moves. It's constantly stable. A lot of other heat presses, sometimes the platen will be the one that comes up and down. That's how they're engineered. Metalnox designed it this way for actually to be a safety feature. Some of you who are in the dye sub business have probably experienced a time where you've lost air or you've lost electricity. And if you have a platen that's not fixed, your platen immediately comes down. And that can be dangerous because, again, you're pressing at 400 degrees, and with all that heat being pressed down and no way to bring your platen back up, it can be a serious, dangerous issue. And so with our system, if you ever lose air, if you ever lose electricity, your table just falls down, not falls down, but it just comes down, and your platen stays fixed, and it'll end up cooling down on its own, which is a great feature to have. So we're going to go ahead and do another transfer for you guys to go ahead and see it.
A couple questions if you don't mind taking them.
Yeah, why don't we go ahead and take some more questions?
What is the cost per square foot on some paper, more or less? I know it varies. But
Great question. So the question was, what is our cost per square foot? Because that's traditionally how in the dye sub market you value your process. With Graphics One's Neotack ink and Extreme Dye Sub paper, our cost per square foot maxed out when you're using all the most ink you can comes to 25 cents a square foot, which is really great because, as you can imagine, even on a 3X t-shirt, there's not a lot of square footage that goes into that. So your product, when it's finished, is a very low cost when it comes to your consumables to go ahead and provide, and you have a great return on investment when you're going to sell it to your customers. We ready for another transfer, David?
Actually, I have one more question about the heat press.
Okay.
What does it say here? It says, does it need ventilation or an exhaust system?
Actually, with our unit, if I can go ahead and move this real quick. Right over there, we do have a ventilation output. So for those of you who are concerned about the fumes that possibly come out of sublimation, you can go ahead and set up a ventilation system, a hose connected to that goes ahead and extracts it out. So that way you don't have to worry about the steam and all the excess fumes that come out of it. So it does have that system available for you, which is a great added feature of this unit. Any more questions? And we really want to say, if you have any questions, please type them in. We do have people checking for the questions. We have a lot of good questions coming out. Feel free to ask questions that are ahead of us, behind us. We want to make sure that you, get all the answers that you need through this webinar.
Oh, sorry. I'm wondering what sizes do your shirt presses come in?
So with the Metal Knox line, what's really nice is that they have everything from small format all the way up to large format. This is actually not their largest heat press. They have one that's even larger, and they even have calendars. So whether you're looking to do the small side of die sublimation to the larger size, they have everything. We highly recommend that you check out our website, graphics1.com, so you can see that full lineup. But I mean, for those of you who are doing the 24-inch die sublimation, we have several heat presses in that lineup that are perfect for it. For those of you who are on the 44-inch die sublimation market, we have a whole nother line for that as well. And for those of you in the 64-inch die sublimation market, we have a whole line of heat presses for you as well. Semi-automatic, fully automatic, air pneumatic, manual, and then also all the way up to our calendars as well. We have
one more that you guys go here. Well, how does it compare to DTG as far as cost?
How does it compare to DTG as far as costs?
Mm-hmm.
Let me go ahead. Overall startup costs. Well, let me go ahead and pass this to Bedallion because he's a bit more familiar with DTG.
As far as comparing it to DTG, with direct to garment, you'd be limited to specifically printing garments, and you'd be limited to just cotton t-shirts, whereas with sublimation, you could utilize it for a wider variety of applications. I know we're demonstrating all over sublimation here, but you could pretty much transfer to any polyester. If you could coat anything, you could put a polyester coating on, and it could withstand 400 degrees for 30 seconds. You could basically transfer to. Whereas with DTG, if your target market is specifically garments, then DTG at that point would make sense. But if you want to utilize it for a wider variety of applications, sublimation would be a better method to go. Better startup. As far as the costs go, generally with DTG, you're looking at anywhere between $15,000 to $35,000, depending on which printer you're looking at. You need the printer, you need the coder, you need a heat press. With something like this startup cost, you're looking at somewhere around $23,000, $22,000 for the whole package with the printer, a heat press, and the only thing in addition to that you would need would be the garments. So, any other questions before we press the back of this shirt?
No, we'll hold off for
Okay.
later.
So now we'll go ahead and transfer the back of the garment. We'll hand the mic to David. So we laid out our shirt, our initial transferred shirt with the back facing up. We'll go ahead and cover the shirt. Again, you just want to make sure that all the sides are covered.
And that's where we had mentioned when you go ahead and do the sizing of your shirt, give yourself some room so that way you can go over. At 25 cents a square foot, it's okay if you have a little excess waste on that, just so that way your image is centered and that your shirt does receive an all-over press. So, table is in. Push the big red button. And away we go. A couple of added features I want to go ahead and mention, as David was talking about with the question of the whole startup cost. Here at Graphics One, we provide the full solution to go ahead and get you started with sublimation. As you can see, the equipment, we have the paper and ink we've mentioned, and even as far as Wasatch, which is a great feature for you to have. On Wasatch, you're able to control up to 4 printers, so as your business grows, you can go ahead and continue to add more equipment to it. There's our time. And again, just 30 seconds at 400 degrees. The ink goes ahead and transfers off the paper onto the garment. And it cures to the garment. Now, an amazing feature to talk about with dye sublimation is its durability. When it comes to dye sublimation, we get a lot of people asking, how's the washability going to go ahead and work? How long will it last? How long will the colors stay there? What's going to happen to all the colors after 10 washes, 20 washes? And when it comes to dye sublimation, because you're actually dyeing the garment, your ink will actually last longer than the fabric that you're transferring to. So, if you have a high quality polyester shirt, you're going to go ahead and last as long as that fabric lasts, which is a great product for you to offer in your business. It's a little hot, but Badalian wants to go ahead and show you guys.
It's a little big on me.
It's a little big too, but he's been working out. Now, another great feature that you have right here on the RJ900 when it comes to dependability is actually, this is a unit that we've actually had out in the field for, I would say, close to 6 years, if not more. There's over 1,500 units out on the field, and as I mentioned, with 44 inches, it allows you to do all the garment sizes that you would need to do with dye sublimation. Another great feature that we have, going back to the cost per square foot, wondering how much you're actually spending on consumables, Wasatch actually has a cost calculator built into it where you can add the pricing of your paper, of your ink, and then it goes ahead and calculates that with the amount of artwork that you've put into your RIP, and it lets you know how much specifically your shirt is costing. And again, we mentioned that we provide everything from the heat press to the printer, from the inks to the paper, including the Wasatch. Even our technicians are trained by the manufacturers to help you with installation. And aside from that, you would just need the garments that you're going to go ahead and transfer to. Now with that, are there any other questions that we have before I go ahead and get towards the end portion of our webinar?
You did have one that says, how is your ink packaged? We can't see the back of the printer.
Okay, our ink is packaged in 1 liter vacuum foil bags. And the reason why they're in vacuum foil bags is because we like to reduce the air that reaches the ink, so that way it's not as contaminated. We like to reduce the dust that can get to the actual components of your printer. We do have an ink delivery system, which is a vacuum ink pack system that you can go ahead and set right above your printer, and it's all gravity fed, and it holds your ink bags in there. And as I mentioned, we have 19 different colors. Our ink goes for $1.15 a liter, and that's for any color that you choose, whether it's a neon, whether it's a super color, whether it's a halftone color, all of that. 1 liter bags for $1.15 a liter. Now, with that, I want to mention, one of the 6 reasons that we put on this webinar is why our dye sub bundles offer the most value in the industry. And the real reason for that is that we offer the complete solution for you. And when I mention complete solution, everything that you get when we go ahead and perform an install for you is basically allowing you to start your heat press, your dye sublimation process, and start building your business up, aside from the garments, which we know garments you can go ahead and purchase through many various places. Now, in other comparisons, there's a lot of companies out there who are very similar to Graphics One, but what they do is they actually only sell components. And we try not to sell the components. We try to offer the full solution. But if you're looking for a component, and meaning a heat press or just a printer, we do offer great deals and great installation packages for that as well. So if you have that kind of situation where you've already started up, you're looking to upgrade your equipment, feel free to give us a call. Let us know, because again, whether it's a solution or a component to a solution, Graphics One is here to help you in that. And going back to our heat presses, we want to go ahead and mention that Metalnox is a heat press that we have been introducing here into the U.S. for the past couple years, and we've had a lot of great success with them. It's a name you probably haven't heard, but Metalnox has been around since the 80s, and they're actually the largest producer of heat presses and calendars in the Americas. They're actually located in Brazil, and when it comes to heat presses, they have everything as small as a heat press that has a 1x2 all the way up to their large calendars for complete systems. And they're able to provide everything that you need for your dye sublimation transfers. They are also the largest seller of heat presses in all Latin America. Even performance companies like Nike, Reebok, New Balance, Puma, that we're very familiar with, they actually use Metalnox heat presses in Latin America to produce their clothing on the athletic side. Metalnox has over 50,000 heat presses to date sold and actually functioning and working in the industry. So they're a well-known company that's really established. They have a great engineering background. They're located, as I mentioned, in Brazil, in southern Brazil, which is the epicenter of some of the world's greatest manufacturing. And they have a world-class facility where they have lines and lines of these set up, and they're actually going through and preparing one each by hand with their engineers. And that's kind of a brief, description of where Metalnox is coming from, why we've decided to partner up with them, because they have a great quality, a great value that can offer when it comes to dye sublimation. So with that, we want to go ahead and see if there's any final questions, if there's any final comments as well.
I have a question.
Yes, we have a question.
Do you guys have any promotion on the Metalnox heat presses?
We do have a current promotion on the Metalnox heat press, which includes, if you buy one, hold on, let me pass it to David.
Actually, on the PTS and PTA units, we're currently offering no crating fees, no shipping fees, and no installation fees. So we'll basically, we won't charge for crating, we won't charge for the shipping, and we'll assist you in the installation of the press. That's currently the special that we're offering on the PTA and PTS units.
And when does that end?
That is up until May 31st.
Great.
And what is the list price of the printer?
The list price of the printer is $74.95, and this heat press that you see right here goes for $15,995. And as we mentioned, we like to do bundles that we offer. So if you're interested in a system very similar to this, as you saw, we were able to go out to a 3X t-shirt doing an all-over transfer. It has the width, so you can do some long sleeves. Even if you're wanting to do a faster production, you can fit 2 mediums comfortably in here and pump out 2 at a time. So if you're interested in a system like this, feel free to contact us. Our number is 818-260-9591. Our website is graphicsone.com. Feel free to go ahead and contact us. You can ask for myself. You can ask for David Medallion. You can even ask for our camera crew, who you don't see right now, but they know pretty much the equipment as well.
Yes, we do.
So with that, are there any other questions?
There is one up on the list here about air requirements.
Air requirements. So right here, what we have below us, I'm not familiar with the whole entire brand, but I know it's a silent compressor, which is great, so you don't hear a lot of noise, and we're able to do this presentation for you. But I know that you need 100 psi in order to go ahead and have the pneumatic work properly. Any other questions?
You have a PTA 12,000 Metalnox. Can you tell the difference between how it works, fully automatic against a semi-automatic heat press?
Very good question. We have, as you may have heard, the PTA line and the PTS line. What you're seeing here is the PTS line, which is our semi-automatic. Basically, it's a push and pull that you're going to do. With the PTA, it's a fully automatic heat press line, and it's basically able to control itself. It's all run by air, and that goes ahead and it basically, all you have to do is load, hit the button, and it's able to go ahead and go in and out and press on its own. You're able to use the controls so you can set up a timer, so that way with your workflow you can go ahead and give yourself time to prepare the new artwork piece, and as you're done with it, it'll automatically take it in, automatically press it, and so that's what the PTA units do. They're very great, and the price on those is outstanding as well. Any other questions? Well, I believe that's it. We want to thank everyone for joining us today, seeing our presentation, seeing the products. And again, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us. Our phone number here at the office is 818-260-9591. You can go to our website, www.graphics1.com, or feel free to email us at info@graphics1.com for more information. With that, we really appreciate the time, and we wish you all have a great day. Thank you.